Ladies and gentlemen, inner strength is the quiet force within you that holds everything together when the world seems to fall apart. It's not about loud declarations or flashy confidence. It's about the silent resilience that pushes you forward when no one is clapping for you. When people lied to you about who you are or tried to convince you that you were weak, incapable, or not enough, they were speaking from their limitations, not your truth. The real power lies in your ability to withstand, rebuild, and rise from the most broken places. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to look for validation from outside sources, society, family, peers. We're told that our worth is determined by how we look, what we achieve, or how others perceive us. But this illusion hides a deeper truth. Your greatest power has never been external. It lives within you. Inner strength is not something you earn. It is something you remember. It's always been there, waiting for you to stop believing the lies and start trusting your core. When everything around you begins to fall apart, inner strength is what whispers, "Keep going." It doesn't shout, it doesn't need to. It's a calm certainty that even though you're in pain, even though you feel lost, you will survive. And not just survive, but transform. It's forged in silence, in solitude, in the moments when you feel invisible, but still choose to show up for yourself. They lied when they said you had to earn your power through approval or competition. Your true power isn't about dominance, it's about presence. It's about standing in your truth even when it's unpopular. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Inner strength empowers you to walk away from what doesn't serve you, to forgive without forgetting, to love without losing yourself, and to trust even after betrayal. It gives you the clarity to recognize manipulation, the courage to set boundaries, and the discipline to build a life that aligns with your soul. The world often underestimates soft power, the power of compassion, grace, patience, and integrity. But these are the true markers of someone who knows their strength. Inner strength doesn't need to be proven. It's felt. It's the energy that radiates from someone who has healed, who has grown through fire, and who has chosen peace over chaos. When you stop looking for strength in other people and start cultivating it within, something incredible happens. You stop chasing. You stop explaining yourself. You stop settling. And people notice. You begin to attract experiences, relationships, and opportunities that mirror your inner wholeness. You no longer accept crumbs because you've realized you are the feast. That realization is your awakening. That's the power they never wanted you to discover, because a person who knows their inner strength can't be manipulated, broken, or silenced. Every challenge you've faced, every heartbreak, every disappointment, it wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to introduce you to yourself, to strip away the false identities you were given and reveal the indestructible essence underneath. The essence that says, "I am still here." That is your true power. So when the world tries to convince you that you're small, remind yourself your inner strength is not loud, but it is unshakable. It is the very thing that will carry you to your destiny. They lied. You were never powerless. You just hadn't been shown how powerful you already are. Self-mastery is the profound realization that your greatest power has always been your ability to govern yourself. Your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, and your choices. When people told you that control comes from external dominance, from overpowering others, or gaining validation through achievements, they were lying. True power is not about controlling the world around you, it's about mastering the world within you. Self-mastery is the ultimate form of freedom, because it means you are no longer a slave to your impulses, your fears, or the opinions of others. It begins with awareness. You start to observe your patterns, your emotional triggers, your destructive habits, not with shame, but with curiosity. You begin to understand that your reactions are often rooted in past wounds, and that healing those wounds requires discipline and presence. Self-mastery means you stop operating on autopilot. You become intentional with your energy. You don't allow every emotion to lead you, every thought to define you, or every person to access you. You learn that boundaries are sacred, not selfish. They lied when they said strength is about never feeling weak. Real strength is knowing when you're slipping into old patterns and gently pulling yourself back. It's not perfection. It's conscious alignment. When you are the master of yourself, you no longer need to prove your worth. You don't react to disrespect with chaos. You don't chase people who don't see your value. You hold your peace like a warrior holds a sword, not to harm but to protect what matters. Self-mastery also requires accountability. You stop blaming the world for your circumstances and instead ask, what can I do differently? You understand that no one is coming to save you. And that's empowering, not depressing. Because once you take ownership of your life, you realize how much is within your control. Your mindset, your habits, your focus. These are tools you sharpen every day, not for applause, but for evolution. They lied when they told you your emotions were weaknesses. In truth, emotions are information. A master doesn't suppress their emotions. They understand them, feel them, and then choose their response. Self-mastery means having the emotional intelligence to recognize that being triggered is an invitation to heal. It means pausing before you speak, thinking before you act, and choosing peace over proving a point. One of the most powerful aspects of self-mastery is discipline. Not the kind forced by fear or punishment, but the kind born from love for your future self. You commit to your growth even when no one is watching. You wake up early. You journal, you meditate, you stay away from drama. Not because it's easy, but because it aligns with the life you're building. You understand that freedom without discipline is chaos. True freedom is earned through self-control. When you master yourself, people notice. You move differently. You speak with clarity. You radiate a calm that unsettles the insecure. You no longer need to chase love, attention, or success. They come to you. Because you've become magnetic in your alignment. That's the secret they didn't want you to know. The more you master yourself, the less the world can control you. You become immune to manipulation, criticism, and envy because your validation doesn't come from them. It comes from within. In a world that profits off your insecurities, self-mastery is rebellion. It's how you take your power back. It's how you rise above noise, distractions, and illusions. They lied to keep you small. But now you know. Your true power is not found in controlling others. It's found in mastering yourself. And when you do, you become unstoppable. Authentic identity is your true power. Yet society often conditions you to hide it. From a young age, you're taught to fit in, to perform, to wear masks that gain approval from others. You're told who to be, what to want, and how to behave in order to be accepted. Over time, the layers of expectations, fears, and roles pile up, burying your real self. But the truth they never told you, the truth they lied about, is that your authentic identity is the most powerful force you possess. When you reconnect with who you truly are, you unlock a level of strength, clarity, and peace that cannot be taken away. Authentic identity is not a role you play or a label you wear. It is the essence of your being when you strip away the noise. It is your thoughts, your feelings, your voice, your unique way of seeing the world. It's not something you invent, it's something you remember. The reason most people feel lost, anxious, or disconnected is because they've been living someone else's version of who they should be. They've traded their truth for approval, and in doing so, they've given away their power. The lie is that blending in is safer. But conformity only brings temporary comfort. It can never lead to lasting fulfillment. Your power lies in standing out, in owning the parts of you that don't fit the mold. Every time you silence yourself to keep the peace, or pretend to be someone you're not, you weaken your connection to your inner truth. And yet the world doesn't need more copies. It needs realness. It needs your voice, your perspective, your story. Living from your authentic identity takes courage. It means being willing to disappoint others to stay true to yourself. It means choosing truth over approval, integrity over popularity. It means saying no when something doesn't feel right, even if others don't understand. It means honoring your values, your needs, your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. But the reward is priceless: inner alignment. When who you are matches how you live, that's when your energy becomes magnetic. That's when you stop chasing validation and start attracting everything meant for you. Authenticity also breeds self-trust. When you live in alignment with your truth, you begin to trust your own judgment, your own feelings, your own path. You no longer second-guess every decision or seek endless opinions. You become your own compass, and that's powerful. Because when you trust yourself, you stop outsourcing your power. You stop living for other people's expectations and start living for your purpose. They lied when they said changing yourself was the key to acceptance. The real power is found in embracing yourself. Flaws, quirks, strengths, shadows, everything. Authenticity is not about being perfect, it's about being real. And when you show up as your real self, you give others permission to do the same. Your authenticity becomes a light that reminds others of their own. In a world full of noise, being authentic is revolutionary. It's how you cut through the distractions and come home to yourself. It's how you find peace, not by becoming who they told you to be, but by becoming who you already are. That's the secret they never wanted you to know. You don't need to become more. You just need to unbecome everything that's not you. Your authentic identity is not just who you are, it's your power source. It's the foundation of your confidence, your clarity, and your purpose. And once you fully embody it, you become unstoppable. Not because you're trying to be someone else, but because you're finally being yourself. A mindset shift is the foundation of unlocking your true power, and it's something most people are never taught. You grow up absorbing beliefs from your family, school, society, and media, beliefs that often limit you rather than empower you. You're told that power comes from control, success, or being better than others. But that's the lie. True power doesn't come from external achievements or approval, it begins with how you think. When you shift your mindset, you change the lens through which you see yourself and the world, and that shift has the power to transform everything. Most people operate from a mindset of scarcity, fear, and self-doubt. They believe they're not enough, that they need to prove their worth, that success is only for a select few. They internalize failure as a reflection of who they are rather than a stepping stone to growth. This kind of thinking keeps people small. It keeps them trapped in cycles of comparison, perfectionism, and procrastination. But once you realize that your thoughts shape your reality, everything changes. A mindset shift flips the script. It says, what if I'm already enough? What if I can? What if failure is part of my path to mastery? The truth is, the most successful, confident, and fulfilled people aren't necessarily more talented or lucky. They simply think differently. They've adopted a growth mindset, one that views challenges as opportunities, feedback as fuel, and setbacks as temporary. They see life as a journey of learning rather than a race to perfection. And because of this mindset, they take action. They stay resilient. They believe in themselves even when others don't. Your mindset determines your energy, your choices, and your outcomes. If you believe the world is against you, you'll find proof everywhere. If you believe you're powerful, worthy, and capable, you'll create results that reflect that belief. This is the power they never wanted you to understand, that you are not a victim of your circumstances, you are a creator of them. The shift begins when you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? A true mindset shift also means taking responsibility for your life, not in a self-blaming way, but in an empowering one. It's realizing that you may not control everything that happens, but you always control your response. That response, your attitude, your focus, your actions creates momentum. And with momentum comes transformation. Shifting your mindset doesn't mean you never feel fear or doubt. It means you don't let those feelings run your life. You start to notice your thoughts, question them, and replace them with ones that serve you. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I'll try. You stop waiting for permission and start giving it to yourself. You stop looking for power outside and start claiming it from within. One of the most powerful mindset shifts is this: life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. Every experience, good or bad, is shaping you, teaching you, preparing you. When you see life through this lens, even your pain becomes part of your power. You stop running from it and start growing through it. They lied when they said you needed to change who you are to be powerful. The truth is, you just need to change how you think. Your mindset is the gateway to confidence, clarity, and courage. It's how you unlock the version of yourself that's been buried under fear, doubt, and conditioning. And once you shift it, there's no going back. You begin to operate from a place of strength, not survival, from trust, not fear, from authenticity, not imitation. Unleashed potential is the power that has always been within you, waiting to be activated. From the time you were young, society, culture, and even the people closest to you may have conditioned you to believe that your power lies outside of you, that it's something you have to earn, prove, or beg for. You were told to fit in, to stay small, to follow the rules and not question too much. But the truth is, none of those limitations were ever real. They were illusions, designed to keep your potential caged. And once you recognize that, you begin to unlock the part of yourself that has always known you were meant for more. Unleashed potential doesn't come from permission, it comes from realization. The moment you stop waiting for someone else to validate your dreams, your thoughts, or your worth is the moment your real power begins to emerge. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you've always been underneath the conditioning, the fear, and the doubt. It's about rediscovering the voice inside that whispers, "You were made for something greater," even when the world tries to drown it out. Many people go their whole lives living far below their true capacity, not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they never gave themselves permission to go all in. They feared rejection, failure, and judgment. They believed the lie that power belongs only to the few. But unleashed potential is available to anyone who is willing to face those fears and keep moving anyway. It's the fire that ignites when you decide to stop playing it safe and start playing it real. Unleashing your potential requires courage, not comfort. It means walking into the unknown, taking risks, and showing up as your authentic self even when it's uncomfortable. It means choosing growth over approval and truth over popularity. And as you do this, something incredible begins to happen. You start to feel alive. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're finally aligned with your purpose, your passion, and your power. This kind of potential is not loud or flashy. It's often quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. It shows up in the way you speak your truth, the way you chase your dreams, the way you heal your wounds, and the way you inspire others simply by being real. It's the unshakable confidence that comes from knowing who you are and no longer shrinking to make others comfortable. It's the decision to live fully, love deeply, and lead boldly. The greatest lie ever told is that you are powerless. But the truth is, you were born powerful. Every challenge you've overcome, every obstacle you've faced, and every scar you carry has shaped you into someone capable of extraordinary impact. Your pain, your story, your uniqueness. That is your superpower. And when you begin to own it, everything changes. Unleashed potential also means responsibility. It means no longer blaming others for your circumstances, but choosing to be the creator of your life. It's the shift from "why me" to "try me," from "I can't" to "I will," from "someday" to "right now." This mindset empowers you to rise, evolve, and lead, not just for yourself, but for others who are still trapped in silence. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment or more credentials to begin stepping into your power. The moment is now. The person is you. And the door has always been open. You just needed to stop believing it was locked. When you unleash your potential, you become unstoppable. Not because you don't fall, but because you rise with purpose every time you do. They lied to you. You've always had everything you needed. The truth is, your true power has been quietly waiting for you to stop holding back and fully claim it. And once you do, the world will never be the same again. Personal sovereignty is the unshakable realization that you are the ultimate authority over your own life. It is the understanding that your thoughts, emotions, choices, and energy are yours to direct, and no one else's. From a young age, you may have been taught to defer to others, to seek approval, to follow rules that didn't align with your soul. You were conditioned to believe that power lies in hierarchy, validation, or external permission. But that was a lie. The truth is, your true power has always been rooted in your ability to reclaim your personal sovereignty. To live in personal sovereignty means to live from the inside out. It means you no longer seek your worth in someone else's eyes. You no longer wait for someone to give you the green light. You stop giving away your energy to things that drain you, and you begin honoring your own truth, no matter how uncomfortable or unfamiliar that may feel at first. When you embrace this level of self-ownership, everything begins to shift. You stop reacting to the world and start responding from a place of clarity, wisdom, and deep self-trust. The journey to personal sovereignty often begins with disillusionment. It comes when you realize that the systems, relationships, or roles you were taught to trust do not hold your best interest. You start to question what you've been told. You feel a stirring inside, a call to remember who you are underneath all the programming. This is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's a sacred return to yourself. It's a wake-up call. And those who answer it are never the same again. When you reclaim your sovereignty, you begin to set energetic boundaries. You stop saying yes when you mean no. You release the need to be liked and instead commit to being real. You let go of people-pleasing, over-explaining, and shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for your light. You begin to choose authenticity over acceptance, integrity over convenience, and growth over comfort. That is true power. Personal sovereignty also means taking full responsibility for your life, not from a place of blame, but from empowerment. You stop waiting for others to change or for circumstances to be perfect. You take the reins. You understand that while you can't control everything, you can always choose how you respond. You become the creator of your reality, not the victim of it. This power is quiet but resolute. It's not about control over others. It's about mastery over yourself. It's about being anchored in your truth, even when others don't understand it. It's about trusting your inner compass above all, and knowing that your soul always knows the way. And when you walk in that level of self-alignment, you begin to attract relationships, opportunities, and experiences that mirror your authenticity. Living in your personal sovereignty is also about honoring your intuition. It's understanding that the divine speaks through you, not just to you. You learn to listen deeply, to follow the nudges, to trust the inner voice that knows before logic can explain. That is where real guidance lives. That is where your true power awakens. They lied when they told you that your power was outside of you. They lied when they said you had to earn your worth or wait your turn. Your sovereignty was never something to be granted. It was yours from the beginning. You were born with the right to think freely, feel fully, choose boldly, and create unapologetically. The moment you choose to reclaim your personal sovereignty, you no longer need to convince anyone of your value. You simply become it. You embody the truth of who you are, and in doing so, you give others permission to do the same. This is your true power, not in how loudly you speak, but in how clearly you live. Not in how many follow you, but in how deeply you know yourself. The lie was that you were small. The truth is you were always sovereign. And now you remember. Hidden gifts are the parts of yourself that the world often overlooks, suppresses, or discourages, but they are also where your true power lies. From an early age, you may have been taught to conform, to fit into boxes, to play roles that made others comfortable. You were likely praised for following rules, for being agreeable, for staying within the lines. But the very qualities you were told to hide or downplay, your sensitivity, your deep thinking, your vivid imagination, your fierce independence, those were your hidden gifts, and they never disappeared. They simply went underground, waiting for the moment you'd remember them. These gifts don't always announce themselves in obvious ways. Sometimes they show up as challenges, like being too emotional, too intense, too introverted, too curious. But that too muchness is actually your unique wiring. It's how your soul communicates with the world. Your sensitivity isn't weakness, it's intuitive insight. Your overthinking isn't a flaw, it's analytical brilliance. Your need for solitude isn't antisocial, it's spiritual recalibration. Once you stop viewing these traits through the lens of shame, you begin to see them for what they truly are, a superpowers in disguise. One of the biggest lies you've been told is that your power lies outside of you, in credentials, validation, appearances, or achievements. But your true power is internal. It's in your hidden gifts, the ones that feel natural to you, so much so that you overlook them. You might be a powerful listener who can make someone feel seen in just a few minutes. You might have a creative mind that generates solutions no one else would consider. You might carry an energy that calms rooms, even when you say nothing. These aren't small things. These are the marks of someone tapped into a deeper frequency. The moment you begin to reclaim your hidden gifts is the moment your life starts to shift. Opportunities align. Relationships deepen. Confidence emerges, not because you're pretending, but because you're finally being. You stop asking for permission to be yourself. You stop shrinking to fit someone else's idea of success. Instead, you start leaning into the things that come alive in you. The things that make you feel both at peace and on fire. The things that make you forget the clock and remember your soul. Sometimes your hidden gifts are buried under pain. Traumas, failures, or losses that made you question your worth. But what if those wounds were also part of the gift? What if they cracked you open in the exact way you needed in order to awaken something deeper? Pain is often the pressure that uncovers buried treasure. And when you stop resisting the story you've lived and start mining the wisdom in it, you find the gold that was there all along. The people who thrive in this life are not the ones who avoid darkness. They are the ones who learn to see in it. They are the ones who get quiet enough to hear the whispers of their own genius, who learn to trust what the world tried to silence, who realize that their difference is their destiny. That is what hidden gifts are, divine fingerprints only you carry. And when you use them, not only do you rise, but you also help others rise too. They lied to you when they said you had to be like everyone else. That blending in was the way to be accepted. That dimming your light made you safer. But the truth is, your hidden gifts are not meant to be hidden. They are meant to shine. They are meant to heal, to guide, to inspire, to create. And most of all, they are meant to remind you that you are powerful beyond measure, because you are you. This is your true power. Not something to acquire, but something to uncover. Not something to chase, but something to remember. You don't need to become anything. You only need to become aware of everything you already are. Your hidden gifts are your soul's way of saying, you were never broken. You were just buried. And now, it's time to rise. Limitless confidence is not something given to you by others. It's something you awaken within yourself. From the very beginning, society conditions you to believe that confidence must be earned through achievement, appearance, approval, or permission. But that's the lie. The truth is, you were born with an inner knowing, an unshakable presence, a deep, rooted confidence that existed before the world taught you to doubt yourself. Limitless confidence is your true power because it doesn't depend on external validation. It flows from the certainty of who you are, not what you do. Confidence becomes limitless when you stop tying it to outcomes. It's not about always being right or always winning. It's about trusting that no matter what happens, you can handle it. You can grow. You can rebuild. It's the quiet conviction that failure doesn't define you, criticism doesn't shake you, and rejection doesn't diminish your worth. Limitless confidence comes when you stop asking, "Am I good enough?" and start affirming, "I am already enough." The lie they told you is that you have to become someone else to be worthy. More polished, more perfect, more likable. But your true power lies in becoming more you. When you walk in alignment with your truth, confidence becomes effortless. It radiates from you because there is no inner conflict, no pretending, no fear of being found out. People are drawn to authenticity more than perfection. They trust people who trust themselves. So the more you honor your voice, your values, your unique energy, the more your confidence expands without limit. Limitless confidence also comes from self-responsibility. Not blaming others, not waiting to be rescued. It means owning your story, your healing, your growth. It means looking in the mirror and saying, "I choose to rise." Confidence grows every time you keep a promise to yourself, set a boundary, or take a step in the direction of your dreams, even when you're scared. Especially when you're scared. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that something is more important than fear. There is a deep spiritual element to limitless confidence. It's the recognition that you are not alone, not random, not powerless. You are connected to something greater. Call it God, the universe, higher self. When you know you are supported by a divine force, your self-doubt begins to fade. You no longer feel the need to control everything. You surrender to the flow, trusting that what's meant for you will find you, and what's not will fall away. That trust becomes a foundation, and from that foundation, confidence flourishes. They lied when they said you had to wait for the right moment, the right look, the right credentials. The right moment is now. The right person is you. The right power is already inside you. Confidence doesn't begin when the world sees your greatness. It begins the moment you do. The moment you stop waiting to feel ready and start moving with faith. Limitless confidence is quiet but unshakable. It doesn't need to prove. It doesn't compete. It doesn't shrink. It simply is. It shows up with presence. It speaks with clarity. It acts with purpose. And it doesn't need applause to know it's valuable. When you live with limitless confidence, you stop living on defense. You stop hiding, apologizing, shrinking, second-guessing. You stop editing your soul to make others comfortable. Your confidence is not limited by your past, your fears, or the lies you were told. It is limitless because you are limitless. The more you remember this, the more unstoppable you become. This is your true power, not arrogance, not ego, but the deep, grounded knowing that you are enough as you are, capable of anything, and worthy of everything aligned with your highest self.